Welcome back to the Spacemacs ABC series. And the plan today is to do the Space G bindings. I've been postponing this one because I was waiting for a pull request to be merged, which changed and introduced a lot of bindings here. But that one has been merged now, so I think right now is the time to do this. Um, After that one, I think I will do the layouts under L because these ones, like, I haven't really been that keen on this feature because I was using eyebrows workspaces instead. But now, actually, these are integrated now, and that was a pull request by BMAG, which was merged just yesterday. Um, so this one's really interesting to me now, and I think L is going to be my next one. And in the same video, I might do P for projects because there's a lot of connections between the projects and the layouts. Uh, so that's probably going to be in one video, and it's necessarily going to be a long one because there's a lot of bindings here for these two features. But that's fine with me. Yeah, back to G, which is for version control, um, mostly because of Git, hence the letter. Um, I need to drink a little bit of water pretty often to keep from coughing right now, so sorry about that. Anyway, so the important thing that changed in the Git, or I'm gonna call it Git, okay? I know it's also supports other version control systems, but Git is really the only thing that I use. So just keep that in mind. I'm just going to say Git from now on. So the important thing that changed in this layer, let me open up the um, documentation here. Um, yeah, should work with all version control backends, which are supported by the Emacs version control package. Um, it now supports 3 different packages for providing these changes here on the right. So you see now that I've added a line here, there's a green plus. These 3 packages are called, let me see, diffhl, gitgutter, and gitgutter plus. Diffhl is the currently used package in the Spacemacs master version. It used to be gitgutter, but we changed to diffhl for some incompatibilities with org mode. Um, and now we have also the option of using gitgutter plus. So you can see here which features they support. Um, in particular, all of them show up in the fridge. Only gitgutter and gitgutter plus allow you to stage chunks from the buffer um, because I guess you need to know specifics about your version control system before doing that. Um, Only diffhl, which is built on the VC backend, provides support for extended version control systems, but apparently, well, I thought gitgutter didn't do that, but apparently it does. So surely the name is misleading. And then there's some DRED support here, but I'm not sure exactly what the purpose of this is. Now, the default package for this feature is gitgutter plus, and I haven't changed the default, so that's the one I'm going to use. And if I miss any features from any of the other packages, then so be it. Um, I will not cover that. Um, so if I now, sorry about this. If I now go to my dot file, and this I guess is our first binding that we need to look at, space GS. Um, That is probably the most important binding under Space G. This one brings you to the Magit status buffer, and some people like to call it Magit, but I'm a fan of Magit, so that's what I'm going to use. And I already have something changed here. Yeah, I increased the font size for this video, so I can discard this. By the way, I'm not going to cover the bindings in the Magit buffer itself in this video. That'll probably have to be for another video. Um, so just keep that in mind. If you press space GS, you will bring you to this magical window. Press question mark to open a view of all the things you can do. There are a lot of different things in here, and you can happily work your way through anything Git related without ever needing to use any other space G bindings other than space GS. Um, but yeah, we're gonna focus on the space bindings, and we're gonna leave the rest of Magit for a different video. So now, in order to get something to work with, some hunks and diffs, I'm going to check out a new branch called test, and I'm going to reset this branch to about, let's say, 15 commits earlier. So now I have a bunch of unstaged changes. And let me, can I unset the upstream? Yeah. There, so I don't have any unpulled commits. So now I have a bunch of changes because I reset the branch pointer to 10 commits earlier, but I didn't actually change the working directory. So now I have a bunch of hunks here with changes. So let me look here. Space. I have to write down the S1. Make it status. Okay, let's go here. Space G dot. So this is the major new feature. It's a VCS Microstate. So here are some bindings for hunks and some that work with Magit. So I assume these are not these are unavailable unless you have the Git layer also enabled, which is where Magit comes from. So of course question mark toggle the help, T toggle the diff signs. So if I scroll, let's see someplace with a more obvious Git. Let me revert a bit more. Sorry, reset a bit more ahead. I want more hunks. There we go. Yeah, there we go. Lots of hunks. Okay. Space G period and N brings me to the next hunk, and capital N brings me to the previous hunk, and I can toggle the signs in the margin with T, and I think I can still. Okay, no, I can't. Go to the next or previous hunk without those symbols. So I guess what this actually does is to turn off that margin mode. So you can't jump between hunks then. Um, Now, if you're on a hunk, you can show it with H, and it shows it in line in the buffer. Let's try space to continue. And you can revert it by pressing R. Revert hunk, yes or no? Yes. This is of course now going to break my config, but that's fine. And I can stage a hunk with S. So if I go to this one and I show it, so what happened here was that I tried out the Unicode fonts package, and I changed the binding for this nameless. So let me stage this one, S, and then quit the microstate, and then I do space GS to go into my Git, and now you can see that I have some stage changes, and I can unstage these. You'll note that the margin symbols went away. So what they show you, actually, at least for Git Gutter Plus, what they show you is the difference between the file and the staged version of the file. It is not the difference between the file and the committed version, right? Anyway, so if I now go back here and I press X to discard these stage changes. Oh shit, no, I wanted to just unstage them. I didn't want to actually just discard them. Okay. My mistake. Can I undo? Yeah. I want to go here. New. Save. And then I get my hunk back. Yeah. So if I now do space G dot and S to stage, and Q to quit, I go here, GR to update, and then I have some stage changes here. And now I pressed X the last time, but that actually discards the changes. But I can do U to unstage, and then I go back here in my buffer, and you can see that the dots are back because these changes are now unstaged again. Anything else here? That's all for the hunk commands. For Magit, you have W to stage all the changes in the current file, and you see it updated itself here. I can do space G dot U to unstage all the changes in the file. Yep. C commit with pop-up. So if I now do stage, sorry, that was W, not S. Yeah. Now I've staged them, and then if I do C, I get what you might recognize if you have used Magit as the Magit pop-up menu for committing, and I can press C here, as it says, to commit. There are a bunch of other options here, which I can come back to later when we do Magit. But anyway, I can press C here, and it'll show me my diff and a place where I can enter the commit message. But I don't want to commit right now. I want to unstage because I have more stuff to look at. Capital C is direct commit. So if I now stage and I do capital C, yeah, it brings me directly to the commit instead of showing the pop-up so that I can choose options. It just goes straight to the commit. So this is basically like pressing CC. You can instead do capital C. But cancel that, and again unstage. I want to keep checking out this microstate. There are more pop-ups from Magit, which you can, of course, launch from in here if you like. There's the diff pop-up. There is the push. There is fetch. And there is pull and log. So these are fast options for using Magit instead of having to do space GS and then wait for the Magit buffer to pop up, after which you can do L or F or P or whatever. You can do them directly from the Magit microstate here. So let me put that in. Sorry, Magit VCS Microstate, I should call it. VCS Microstate. Okay. But there's more changes here. Space GB. So this is the git blame microstate. Is that in? That might be part of Magit actually. I need another drink. Okay, so this is let me go to a different file actually. Packages L Spacemacs. This one. This one should have a really interesting magit blame. Yeah, you see so you see basically the last commit that changed any given line here. So okay, Tristan Hume. So these files were these lines were last changed by Tristan November of last year. Better smart parents behavior for braces. And then you can go B again to go back in history. And you can press this as much as you like. Um, yeah. Can I go forward in time? Like capital B? No. I can only quit. Oh, Q brings me forward in time. And if I do Q enough times, I get back to the present time. Yeah. Okay, that's nice. B, git blame, microstate. Um, anything else? Space GC, my git commit pop-up. Okay, so you can actually launch this even without going into the microstate, just directly from space G. So space GC commit, and by extension, space GCC is goes directly to commit. But of course, I didn't have anything staged here. So if I do go to my dot file, I stage this hunk, I stage everything, and then I do space GCC, I get to this commit window. But abort that, and please unstage again. Thank you. So C, git commit. Anything else? Capital C is checkout. So most of these things are from the magit package, and they are in the git layer and not in the version control layer. And I'm not totally sure exactly which ones are where, but this one for sure is in the git layer. But yeah, this lets you check out branches or tags or even commits by hash or whatever. See, git checkout. Anything else? Diff. So this is the same as going diff in here, right? De-diffing. Dwim. Whenever you see dwim in Emacs, it means do what I mean, and it's sort of supposed to be handy for in any situation, so that you don't have to exactly specify what it is you want. So it's supposed to be sort of context, um, decide by context here. So space GD, diff, and D, do what I mean. Diff for range. So can I do something like head tilde 1 head? Yeah, and that shows the changes between the previous commit and this one. And if I do, can I just do nothing? Yeah, and then it shows the changes from the branch or the head to the working tree. That's really useful, and I assume it only does that for this file. Let me check actually, because I think I had changes in another file as well. Config L. No, it actually does show in each file in the whole repository. Okay. Nice to know. Nice to know. D git diff. Anything else here? Diff head. Okay, so that one is the most frequently used diff operation, I suppose, which is why it has its own binding between head and working tree. That's the one I showed you earlier, and you can also do space GDD and then enter. But if you do this one, at least you don't have to hit that enter. Okay, space G E. Okay, this is ediff. Um, so ediff is an Emacs application for diffing, and now I have two variations of my buffer here. This is probably the working copy, and this is from the branch or the head. And I'm telling you right now, I am really not familiar with ediff. But you can do N to jump between the hunks, and P to go back. J jump to diff. GX go to access point. That's undefined apparently. Control L recenter. Can I go V scroll up down? Swap variants. So that moves them right and left. Yeah, flip the split. Highlighting. Okay. Auto refinement. Refinements are hidden on. Where did my diffs go? I don't see them now. Did I? Oh, okay, yeah, highlighting. Highlighting ASCII flags removed. Highlighting like this. Auto refinement. I don't know what auto. Oh, okay, so it's this one. This it shows exactly which part of the diff is new. Hidden, on or off. Okay, so if it's hidden, they are actually hidden, but if they're on, they're on, but if they're off, they're still on? I don't know. I'm confused. Like I said, I'm not an expert on ediff. I haven't really used this a lot, so ignore white space. Ignore case. Focus wide display. That was not very wide. Yeah, so there's really a lot of different things you can do here, but I'm going to quit, and we're gonna maybe come back to that um, a different time when I'm more prepared. So anyway, E and capital E are the same as D and capital D, except they work with ediff instead of magitsdiff. Okay. F and capital F is for fetch and pull, which I have showed you before in the microstates. Git fetch, capital F, git pull. So gist, yeah, this one is really cool. So whenever you want to show something to someone online, like this region here, you can do space G, G, and for example R to do gist region. And it'll ask for my username and my password, which I think is this one. JSON read table error. Okay. Well, anyway, I have used this before, only like last week, and it worked, so So something is clearly not correct, but yeah, you just gonna have to trust me on that one. It actually did work. So if you've been using GitHub before, you know they have this sort of a paste bin feature where you can post random files that aren't really attached to any repository just for a quickie, and these bindings let you do that automatically from within Emacs, which is really handy, I think. Um, there was R for region, um, B for buffer. Anything else? Yeah, so if then the capital one is for private. And then there was one more binding, gist list. So yeah, so this lets me list my list my gists, but apparently something is not working with this at the moment, so I'm going to leave that. Um, yeah, if you see any like strange indentation here, it's because org indent mode is really it's not working well with all different kinds of things that can happen in a buffer. Um, so yeah, that's probably the reason. But okay, space G H GitHub link commits. Point is not on a commit hash. Okay, so I guess if I do, can I copy the? Can I get the commit hash somehow? Uh, show refs. Apparently not. Um, okay. What if I do master like this? Space G C. Oops. Space G H C. Point is not on commit hash. Okay, so it only works with commit hashes then. That's kind of disappointing. Um, let me try. Git rev parse head. Space GHC. Aha. Yeah, so that links you to the that opens that commit in the in Firefox. Hope I don't have anything embarrassing here. Yeah, I've been checking out Tomb Raider. Okay. Um, let me go back. There you go. Um, yeah, see there? There's org indent mode again, fucking up. Okay. Space G. Okay. I have to. I have to write here. H GitHub. Oops. Butterfingers. There we go. Wait, what? Okay, I have to turn off org indent mode here and turn it on again. There we go. That's better. C. Go to git commit by hash at point by hash. Okay. Space gh copy URL only. Okay, so if I do space gh capital C, it copies this URL to the clipboard. Is that the system clipboard? Nope. It uses the internal clipboard. Yeah, that's fine. Space gh l git link. Oh, where did it try to go here? Yeah, it tried to go to it tried to show me the link to a specific file and a specific line. And the reason it failed is because I don't have this branch that I'm working on, I didn't push that to GitHub, so I can try to do that. Push this branch, set upstream, and put it to origin test. And if I then do GHL, it links me to line 473, which is a different line because I have a bunch of unstaged changes, of course. That's why. So if I stage all of these changes, then I commit, make an empty commit, and push that one. And then if I do space GHL, yeah, it brings me then to that line. Perfect. Let me bring Firefox down a couple of workspaces there so that I don't have to scroll past the rest of my stuff. In case there's any more browser things here. Yeah, and if I do space GH capital L, it just copies the link, and I think if I do space GHL on a region, it links me to that region exactly. Very nice. This is really nice. Whenever you are discussing coding with people online, this is really handy. You don't have to open the Git hub website and then browse around through the branches and the files to find exactly where you need to point things out. Of course, it does have a backside if you happen to be on a different branch or you have stuff in your working tree. These links might not work correctly, as we just saw. So let me do capital C, go to, or copy. No, this was a different one. Let me do L. That was L or capital L. Go to or copy GitHub URL to point. Let me say that. And then it was yeah. Yeah, there was a capital L, a capital C, sorry. Go to or copy GitHub URL to commit at point. And then space GH GitHub browse file. So this one just opens the file at this commit, I think, in GitHub. Let me see the... Yeah, it opens into the right branch and the right file to see the state of that file. That was O, wasn't it? GitHub browse file, yes. Open file in GitHub. And then space GH capitals, no, Control C, GitHub clone. Oh, really? URL. So let me try cloning Spacemacs layers to, okay, so that one really just it clones any repository to any folder, which I don't really do that often, but okay. Clone GitHub repo. Okay, that brings us to the end of the GitHub bindings, and then we have capital H for highlight. Highlight by age of changes. Did that do anything? Oh, it did something. I have some highlighting here. It's not really, it's not a whole lot to go by here. What if I, okay, space G, capital H, clear. What if I do, go to this packages file, space G, capital H, H. Okay, here's something. But what does this mean? So is this one newer? I don't see a lot of different colors here. Okay, here's something. This one's, yeah, so I guess it does what it claims. It highlights changes by actual date, and I guess my dot file is too new almost everywhere. But this file is older and more venerable, and so it has some different things in here. So presumably this stuff is old, this stuff is slightly newer, and this stuff is even newer. And if I do clear and if I do git blame, yeah, this one is from a couple of weeks ago, and this one as well, this whole thing, and the rest is even older. Okay. I'm not sure how to increase the granularity on that feature or really how, but yeah, I don't know. There was also a highlight by last update time. That also didn't do very. Oh, here we go. Okay. Okay, so this one sort of correctly identifies that all these changes are roughly at the same age. So yeah, so this one actually shows a lot more details. So maybe I must have been misunderstanding what the other one did there. But this one seems more reasonable. And then clear. Okay, so capital H, highlight, C, clear, H. That was, what did it say? Highlight by age of changes. By age of change. And T by last update time. I'm not 100% sure what the difference between these are. I could of course read the docstring, but I think we'll leave it and I just say this one looks cooler. This one question marks. Okay, space G I magit init. So this one initializes a repository somewhere. Again, not the one binding that I would use a lot, I think. Space G capital I helm git ignore. Let me do this on my dot file repository. Git ignore, let's say C++. Okay, so that creates a git ignore file. Oh, that creates a git ignore buffer. It doesn't save it to a file. Do I have a git ignore here in this repository? I do not. Okay, so basically these are like suggested ignore patterns for certain programming languages, I guess. Um, typically I don't add things to my git ignore before I really need them. So I'm sure that my git ignore only ignores the exact minimum that I need it to ignore. So this is again something that I probably wouldn't use. Git ignore patterns. Space G L magit log pop-up. Again, we've seen this before in the microstate. Git log pop-up. Let me remove the pop-up name there. Space G L, capital L, yeah. So my git log buffer file. So this one shows the log for this file. And yeah, of course, I moved my dot file to this repository not too long ago, and that's why all my changes are uh, are so recent that the highlighting didn't show anything interesting here. And that's, I think that must be what the age of change here. That must be like number of commits ago, and this must be like actual time between now and the commit date. I I'm guessing, but I suspect that's something like it. So okay, so this one is git log for current file. Um, Anything else? Git messenger pop-up message. What is that? Turn it to... Okay, now... Okay, I couldn't move there. Okay, so it shows me the commit message the um, of the last change at the current line, I think. Um, Let me check out somewhere where I made a change. Help. Okay, those are just deletions. Yeah, elpa https. So I added this variable. So if I do space gm here, yeah, add new dot spacemacs variable. So it's like it serves a similar purpose to the git blame. It shows you which commit. Essentially, it shows you which commit last changed this line. And it only shows you the commit message. It doesn't show you when it happened or who did it, but it serves a similar purpose, I would say. So that's nice. Show commit message. Show last commit message at points, maybe. Space G P for push, capital P. Again, that's the same thing as you find in the Git status and also in the version control microstate. Space G S, my Git status. I've shown you this before. We have that one there. Probably the most important binding of all in this letter. Um, Space G capital S stage file. Stage whole file. I guess that's what you get if you do W in the VCS Microstate. Yep, here stage changes in current file. Space G T time machine microstate. Okay, so this one brings you back and forward in time, I guess. So now I'm on Sunday, December 6th, 13 minutes ago. So that's my last commit, and if I do P, it brings me back to November 21. Of course, I'm in a branch now where I resetted a few of my commits, essentially squashing them. So that's why this time machine isn't so interesting. But if I go back to the master branch, the following unchecked working tree, yeah. Okay, I can commit them. Don't care about it. And then if I check out master. Okay, so that's cool. Before these git errors didn't show up in this my git status buffer, but now they do, and that's really handy because every now and then things just didn't work, and you didn't know why. You had to open the git the my git process buffer to read the error messages. But apparently now they show up, and that's big thumbs up for me. By the way, the Magit process buffers, you can find them by searching for Magit process in here, um, and you can see everything that happens here, what Magit is doing. and here's your error. So if you ever run into that, this is what you can do. Anyway, I was looking at the time machine, Space GT. So now I should have fewer commits here. I can go back in time 4 days ago, 5 days ago, 6 days ago, 9 days ago, and I can do N to go forward in time. I can press C to go to the current head. I can press Y to copy the hash of that commit, and Q to quit. Yeah, so that's nice. Also, it's one of those things that are really handy every now and then. Maybe not always, but it's good to keep in mind. And of course, it's always hard to remember these things when you actually do need them. But I guess there's no no good way around that. Um, Git time machine microstate, and then yeah, unstage. So I'm gonna put that one here. Stage or unstage whole file. So I think that actually brings us to the end of the Git bindings. As I said, next time I'm going to try look at layouts. Yeah, this one. The layouts and projects together. Hopefully, it's going to take a long time. There's a lot of features that I need to learn. But hopefully that'll be extremely valuable for me and you guys. Um, and I've also been asked whether I'm going to publish this document here. The thing is, I don't think that's really going to be very useful for anyone. Um, you're better off going space and then Control H for help and H again, and that brings you into these Helm describe bindings, which shows you all this stuff. Or you can do space question mark to show bindings immediately. Although I think that shows you also bindings that doesn't start with space. So basically what I'm trying to say is I don't think this document is going to be extremely useful, mostly because of you have better introspection methods in Spacemacs already through Helm desk binds and WitchKey, but also because the bindings change every now and then. Particularly this next release, I think will change quite a few bindings. Of course, this is not something that we'll enjoy doing, but it's always been a stated goal for Spacemacs to have consistent bindings, and whenever we add a new feature, we have to bring that into line with existing bindings, and whenever there is anything that doesn't fit, we may have to change something. And Spacemacs is still beta software, so that happens. And the practical upshot of this is that in a few months, well, I won't say a lot, but many of this stuff in this file is going to be out of date. And so what I want you to take away from these videos isn't really it's not specifically the bindings themselves, but more of an overview of which features are available. So in the future, when you want to do something and you remember you saw this video and you know it's possible, I mean you don't have to remember the binding, and you don't have to look that binding up in this file. You just use one of the dynamic tools we have for this, namely WitchKey or Helm desk binds. But that said, of course, I can publish this file. That doesn't hurt me at all. So sure. So use that for what it's worth. Just keep those things in mind. I've also been asked whether I'm going to do videos on other things. which I suspect I might. In particular, I would like to show you a few things about Magit. Even though I'm not a super expert on Magit, but I use it for myself, so as a sort of a guide or a sort of a yeah, I don't know what to what to call it. I can't give an in-depth look at Magit, but I can sort of uh, act as a tour guide, I guess. I can do that. Some people wanted to know how to use org mode, which again I'm not an expert on org mode, but again I can maybe act as a tour guide and show you some of the cool things you can do there. Org mode is huge. It is massive, and there's no way for me to show you everything. But we have some additional bindings in org mode for Spacemacs, which you miss out on if you do the official org mode documentation. So that those could be nice to see. Um, Also, I got a comment asking me to do LaTeX, which sounds like a great idea because I've done a lot of LaTeX myself lately, and I've benefited greatly from the bindings in Spacemacs for LaTeX. So I might do that as well. So that's the plan. I might also do Python. Uh, uh, but yeah, I can't think of anything else that I could do really that would be very interesting. But anyway, all of that will have to come after I make it to the end of the alphabet because this is really the only series that I'm working on right now. So it'll have to be in time. Uh, yeah, so that brings us to the end of this video. We have now done everything from A to K, and layouts and projects are up next. So see you then. Bye.